Alright, what's up? What's going on, guys? It's your boy Chumbles, and I'm back with another video. So this one is actually going to be a AD Nidalee jungle guide, um, with Lyra bringing it into the LCS. So this is something that I'm happy about, but I'm also like, God, please do not play it anymore. Do not advertise that it's good, because God only knows that Riot will fucking nerf Nidalee just because Lyra had one good game. Or if Lyra advertises that it's good. And we already have fucking I Will Dominate playing this shit in high solo queue. Alright? So, all the Nidalee mains, or anybody that is planning to play this, especially since this is something that I've actually played like for a long ass time, for fun, especially this season, which I think it's better than AP for certain reasons. But yeah, God bless if this shit gets, quote unquote good, which I don't think it will. It was kind of a niche pick. So I'll kind of talk about that on the side. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, though, or who Lyra is the jungler for Envy. He is, he's kind of the player that decides whether Envy wins or not. At least most of the time. He's considered to be the best jungler in NA for anybody that's not from NA possibly watching this. If you want, you should check out the game. He kind of shows you like how to play it, and basically it's pretty good video, honestly, to be honest. So if you haven't seen it, I'd recommend just watching it. It was Envy versus Cloud9 game 1. The date is the 19th of March. So whenever you're watching this video, if you want to watch that and you haven't seen it, I'd recommend going over and seeing that. So yeah, so let's get on with the actual build itself. So I have to do this shit. I have to go on Mobifier. Not sponsored, but if Mobifier you want to sponsor me, that'd be pretty cool. Especially since Riot still hasn't implemented item sets, because they, for whatever God knows what reason, think that it's fine that it's not out yet, and season 7's slowly coming to an end, but which is weird because it kind of feels like it literally just started. But anyways, so I kind of have to do this like really stupidly. I don't even think stupidly is an actual word, but yeah. So I guess honestly, I don't really know what the hell. I don't know how to really use this. Hello? Oh god, what in the hell? Oh my god, no. Leave. Okay, so we're gonna have to kind of really do this awkwardly. So let's get on to the jungle item itself. So you're either going to want to build a Cinder Hulk or a Warrior enchantment. You can also build Runic Echoes, which is kind of weird when, given the whole scope of things. But I think the two that are just the best are Cinder Hulk and Warrior. So I will say one thing. I think the reason Lyra is actually playing with Cinder Hulk, especially given that it was an LCS game, is because he needed to be a little tankier. Usually you'll actually see this a lot where even if you're a carry jungler, you won't necessarily build to hard carry, especially in the LCS. In solo queue, I'd recommend going Warrior Enchantment. Warrior gives great stats for the actual price. And with Triforce or Iceborne, which I'll get to in a bit, actually gives you 30% CDR just off those two items, which is extremely strong. And I think the 30% range is actually where Nidalee is the strongest, and after that it's kind of whatever. Like, the CDR doesn't really make that much of a difference after the 30%. So it's a really strong 2 item power spike just off that. And I would recommend always going red smite. I don't think blue smite is needed. There's very niche situations where I think blue smite could be better, but I'd say 90% of games you're going to go red smite. The on-hit effect and everything is just way too strong. So next is going to be boots. For boots, you can go Swifties. I'm just looking at the Swifties right here. You can go Swifties. I wouldn't recommend it though. You're already a really mobile champ. I'd recommend either getting Berserkers. Why aren't all the boots here? I'd either recommend going Berserker Greaves, Ninja Tabby, or Mercs. Most times I think Ninja Tabby's probably going to end up being the strongest. Just overall, just because every champ does physical damage. Even if it's an AP mage or whatever, they still will do physical damage with autos, etc. So yeah, you can just, it's pretty basic. Armor MR, whatever is stronger. If it's a game that you're already snowballing in like crazy, Berserker Greaves would probably be an even better option. Next is, oh my god, this sucks so much. Next is going to be Triforce or Iceborne Gauntlet. I think Triforce is ultimately stronger, and I think that Triforce is better even in like top lane. So I think Triforce is just a standard for AD Nidalee. While Iceborne can be strong, I think it's, again, what the hell? The page just moved by itself. I didn't even touch my mouse. While it can be strong, I think it's also like, it's situational, very situational. Like, say you're going against 5 ADs or something, for example, then I'd be like, yeah, Iceborne is probably a better pick in this situation. So I think overall though, Triforce is probably going to be better. So I'm just trying to make it kind of a guide for the masses rather than very situational picks, or situations. Yeah, that's, hopefully that makes sense. Next is going to be, I think, Blade the Rune King. Got a really great nerf, especially if you're on Triforce. The synergy with the attack speed you lost with the AD that you gained from Blade the Rune King is extremely strong. Active is good, helps you keep up with people. Also synergizes with the red smite and everything, so helps you keep autoing. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't think it's too confusing. I think it's pretty standard for a lot of people to understand now. The other one is going to be Jarm's Fist. So a lot of people don't actually know this, but Jarm's Fist is a item that actually let me get it just in case. Oh no, Steric's Gauge. Wait, is this? What's Jarm's Fist? Oh, this thing. Okay, yeah. It builds into this. Steric's Gauge is what I meant to say. So I think Steric's So Sterak's is actually the only item in the game in which actually buffs your base AD stat, which in which means that your Triforce proc. Let me show you just so. So the passive of Spellblade actually increases with that actually increases with the actual damage that it does. So with either Iceborne or Triforce, it actually increases that if the effect's going off. So really strong item. Also tanky, helps you survive. So right now you're kind of at the 3-item power spike of Nidalee. Another item will be Mauve Mortius. I think it's not 100% needed, but can also be good in certain situations if there's, AP champs that you're trying to get away from. Another good item is actually Ginsu's. If you're going the more on hit kind of build, on hit split push kind of build, I'd definitely recommend Ginsu's. The attack speed steroid is pretty good, especially when you're able to just keep it up and keep autoing. Another item that a lot of people don't really talk about that much, with AD Nidalee at least, is Bloodthirster. I actually think this is a really good item, especially if you're going this build. Man, this is kind of all over the place. Sorry about that. I'm trying my best. Another possible item is Frozen Mallet, although I think Sterak's is more optimal in this situation specifically. There's situations where Frozen Mallet's probably better, in which I'd recommend in the more on-hit build, but I'm trying to give you guys a standard AD Nidalee jungle build that I'd truly recommend, not like a true gimmicky on-hit build, which can work, but I don't think is the most optimal. Let me see what else. Next is going to be health. So an item for, building a tankier would actually be Deadman's. Pretty strong item, works well. The actual passive hit is strong. Now, if you're looking for pure health with something, I think Liandry's is actually it's okay. If your team is lacking AP, then I'd recommend getting Liandry's. Helps you just get a little tankier. The passive is actually really strong. Another item that I recommend, Spear Visage. Very strong item on Nidalee. I think in most situations you're going to want Spirit. Very few situations where you're not going to want to build it. And in most of those situations, you're going to want Randuin's Omen. So I think Randuin's also a really good item that you can build. If you aren't splitting, I'd recommend Knight's Vow, to be 100% honest. So if you look at the armor that Randuin's gives, it's 60 armor and 500 health. And Knight's Vow gives 40 armor, 400 health, 100% base health regen. With the passive that you can put it on to somebody, makes it extremely strong. So, if you're not the pure tank on the team, then this would probably be a really good item. Throw it on the tank, let the tank go in, soak up damage. It's also a very cheap item. It's very cost efficient for what it does. I'm kind of surprised that I haven't really seen this in pro play. at least from what the games I've seen. Comment down below if somebody's actually used it in pro play. I'd like to see what people are thinking of it. Hopefully I didn't just like breathe into the mic like that. But yeah, I think that's basically it. This is a pain in the ass though to try and do. But yeah, that's basically it. Hopefully this part is very helpful to you. Actually, another two items. Guardian Angel, I think, is like, it's an item that basically every champ can have. And the other one would probably be Scimitar. But I wanted to talk about Scimitar in this other part that I'm going to go over right now. So let me bring this up. So you're probably like, what the hell is this? This is Lyra's build in the game that I was talking about earlier. Let me move this. There we go. Hopefully that's better. So let's talk about this for a second. I think this would be pretty good to go over. So the ability order that he went, kind of interesting, but okay, so again, this is pro play. If you watch the game, he got help to do Raptors, which I think a lot of junglers actually get now. So yeah, Bushwhack would be better in that situation. In solo queue, go Javelin. It's just the most optimal. You clear 100 times faster with the Javelin toss as your first skill. Get the max range, and then just auto weave in your autos and then your Qs. So it's kind of hard to talk about without having the game or assuming that you haven't seen the game. So, or that you have. I think that in rank solo queue, Javelin toss can be stronger if you are, I'd say, like level 3 and you've already snowballed. So by my definition of snowball, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have gotten a kill or assist, but rather that you put pressure on the map to where either the enemy jungler is behind because of something that you did, maybe take camp, maybe, do damage to them or whatever, and they had to go back, waste time. Let me unplug this shit. Yeah, so if they are behind, then I would definitely recommend going Q first and try and snowball the game. Assuming you're around like level 4, or even if you helped a lane get ahead, whatever it might be. So so I think it's, if you aren't at that point, then you would max your heal. Also a great skill to max. It does good on AoE. The heal is also really strong. The attack speed steroid strong. So I don't think you can go wrong maxing either or, but like I said, just depends. So he actually goes Hunter Machete, which I actually do as well. Or not Hunter's Machete, or yeah, Hunter's Machete. Because I forgot to change the names. Rather than Talisman first, which I agree with. It just gives you the more health than Talisman would, whereas Talisman gives you more mana. So yeah, let's talk about this. We'll go down this way. So runes, he actually puts he actually puts 6 magic resist. I put 4, and I put more attack speed. You can do it this way as well. Either or is fine. I personally enjoy the extra attack speed that I actually put in. I don't think this amount of MR is needed, but again, like, he is in a professional League of Legends game, whereas you're in solo queue and you're trying to snowball and win. So personally, I think that the attack speed is better, and the rest is all fine. You could switch the armor for health per level, which is also fine. I think either or is pretty good, and then I'd keep the Quince and Marks the exact same. So let's talk about the masteries now. So kind of interesting. He puts sorcery. So I think the reason actually behind this is, as the jungler, you're not necessarily going to, how do I say this that it actually makes sense? So, as a jungler, you're not necessarily going to use Fury that much in team fights, whereas sorcery, assuming, the way I think he thinks of this is, he's assuming that he can probably get around 2 full combos off, like in Cougar form. So that means, his W, E, and his Q, which would make sorcery a lot more efficient. But I think Fury is actually extremely strong. I'd have to play around with sorcery more, especially in the jungle, because in top lane, I would never take sorcery. Fury's 100 times better in lane. But I can see the logic behind sorcery. Also assuming, he's in a professional game. Typically, you're not going to be able to just sit there and last hit, or not last hit, but rather do more damage in fights just by autoing. Whereas you'd probably go in, use all your spells, and hope for the best kind of thing. So I think that's probably his thinking. Obviously, I haven't spoken to Lyra about it, but if you want to talk to me, that'd be cool. But I don't think this works on minions or monsters. I'd have to test this, actually. Because if it does, then I could also see that, because Fury would also just be, I think, more optimal in the jungle as well. The attack speed is obviously going to be extremely helpful. So I'd actually have to test if sorcery does do more to monsters and minions. If it does, and you actually know that for a fact, please leave a comment down below. I usually see my comments like relatively soon, so so yeah, hopefully you guys could let me know. Now this one is just a no-brainer. Fresh blood is just the strongest for junglers. He goes natural talent. You can go vampirism, like a 1 point into vampirism. I think is probably better, just overall. Double-edged sword for junglers. This one you can go either or. I actually have been enjoying the magic pen one a little more. I think it's kind of better if you aren't getting off as many autos. So I think this one would be better in the jungle, just because you're not the top laner. You're kind of expected in a way to be semi-tanky, whereas top you are tanky, but it's kind of hard to explain. I think in top you're trying to kite more, rather than in the jungle you're trying to go in with your tank, top laner or whatever, and hopefully you guys can soak up damage and stuff and do as much damage as possible. Also, all of your abilities AP, so it makes sense. Other than, you know, the AD stat and your Q and stuff. But Fervor, just the best. I've tested Warlords, like I've said before. Very niche, very... it's very... How do I say this? It's for very specific situations. So, yeah. Now, Savagery is just better because Wanderer isn't good because you're trying to be in combat with Nidalee. It's the whole point of playing the champ. So Savagery. Runic Affinity, I'd say, is the strongest for Nidalee. Some champions, like Rengar or Kha'Zix, actually prefer Assassin. You can go Assassin on Nidalee too, if you'd like. If you don't feel like you're getting enough from Runic Affinity. But also remember, this does apply with your Rift Herald buff as well as Baron, so just keep that in mind. Merciless, just obviously better, and Greenfather's Gift, extremely strong. You're Nidalee, you're trying to be in bushes, and you can go Dangerous Game if you'd like. If you don't think you're getting enough from this, then that's your choice. But I think the setup he has here is pretty good, except for this. I'd have to test to see which one I think is the best. You can also go down Resolve. If you were to, I would go Recovery, I'd go Explorer, and I'd go Runic Armor into either Fearless or Insight. So hopefully that's good. And I guess I'll briefly talk about his build. So again, he went Cinderhulk. I already explained that. Why I think he actually goes that. Again, if Lyra's watching this video somehow, let me know if what I said was true. It'd be cool to get insight from my actual true pro player. Triforce, again, I think is the most optimal. 9% of the times you should be building it. Again, he goes Mercury Treads. So let me quickly explain why I think he actually did that. So CC on literally every fucking ability. This champ is retarded. Has some CC, no CC, CC. So in this game, I would 100% be building Mercs. Like I said, you have to just know when to pick between Mercs, Ninja Tabbies, and Berserkers. And because of the amount of CC he has, he goes Scimitar, which if Nautilus was another champion, let's say Nautilus was Jace, right? Now I don't know this for a fact, but I think that he'd be more inclined to shy away from this and possibly be building something different. I'm not exactly sure, in his mind what that would be. But, maybe something like Bloodthirster or Blade the Rune King. The items that I've mentioned before, what the hell is that item? Sterix Gauge, maybe something like that. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. And then he goes into another MR item, which is Maw. So if you look at their team, they actually have Nautilus, which is AP, Lee Sin, which does do some AP damage, not a lot, but still does some, Cassio AP, Ezreal, which actually does quite a bit of AP actually, and Malzahar obviously AP. So a lot of AP, so he's building a lot of MR. It makes sense, you know. Don't really need to explain it, but then he goes GA. He's at the point where he's solo carrying, or not solo carrying, but he's practically solo carrying. Like if you look at the team, you know, he's doing a lot of their damage. He wants to stay alive, be in the fight longer. Makes sense. So hopefully this all makes sense to you guys. Hopefully you found this helpful and informative. Sorry about the shit layout, I guess. You can blame Riot for that, for not putting in the item sets yet. Kind of a joke, to be honest, but yeah, hopefully this was helpful. Let me know if you want more of these kind of videos. I could go more specific, I guess. But yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below. I actually get back to people, not like some YouTubers. No shots fired, I'm just saying. I try to be engaging with the fan base. Also, side note, we are getting close to the halfway mark where I'll be doing an RP giveaway. So if you don't know about that, at 500 subs, every 500 subs, I'm going to try and do a RP giveaway. You know, maybe a little incentive, I guess, for you guys to subscribe. Helps grow the channel. Also, please leave a like. I think I actually said this. I'm tired. I've been at work for 8 hours, and then I decided I thought I'd do this video before I eat and go to bed. But yeah, hopefully this was, you know, I wanted to bring this out because of the, I guess, hype around this. As somebody who has actually played it before Lyra brought it into the LCS, I just want to give my 2 cents, let you guys know what I built personally, and try it out. Honestly, just try it out. I think it's really fun, to be completely honest. But if you hate the playstyle of AD Nidalee, you may not like it. But I think it's all good fun. I enjoy playing it. You might as well just, you know, give it a try. You know, that's what League's all about, I guess. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you want to play viewer games, you can follow me on Twitter. I said I was going to do a viewer game this weekend, and then I got super busy with school. A bunch of essays kind of hit me all at once, and I was like, well, shit. How do I bring out videos for you guys, do homework and work all at the same time? It's, you know, it's kind of not the best of times, but I will notify you guys when I want to actually play the viewer games and then put it on my YouTube channel for you guys to watch and, you know, see yourself play, I guess. But yeah, that's that. You can also follow me on Twitch if you'd like to watch my live gameplays. I sing a lot of Post Malone there, so, you know, if you're a Post Malone fan, we'll probably get along really well. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed, and I will be seeing you guys in the next video, which will be gameplay of Nidalee top. So stay tuned for that, and Chumbles out.